Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dean here, and we received some email correspondence from USI Tech overnight, and honestly, I didn't expect to be making another video so quickly after yesterday's update, but here we are. So, I, like many people, got the email. I'm not 100% exactly sure what it all means, so I thought I'd just take a few minutes just to share what my interpretation is. I could be wrong, but this is just how I read the wording, noting obviously that it's primarily written in German and then translated. So it quite well be that there's some things lost in translation, but this is certainly how I read and understand it at the moment. So this is the letter. It starts off fairly generic. However, we regret that the last few weeks. Okay, we know there's been a problem. Okay, so they're just highlighting that again, and that they've done their review, and they've now got everything out that they need to, and that they've found a large number of distributors doing something wrong or illegal. Primarily, that seems to be the fraudulent use of accounts to gain a financial advantage of the commissions that get paid out. Okay, so for every purchase, there's 35% of the purchase gets paid in commission fees or commission payments up the compensation plan. So if you create a number of fake accounts and then buy down at the bottom, then that rolls up into all these fake accounts. So instead of, say, spending $100 to buy a package, and you stick it down at the bottom, all right, then effectively you're going to get an extra 35% or $35 out of that $100. Okay, well, at the end of the day, somebody was going to get it anyway. It's just, you kept it for yourself rather than making it move up the chain. So personally, I don't really see why that's an issue, because USI have a compensation plan that automatically pay out 35% of all commissions, 35% of all purchases in commission. So whether it goes to your upline or it goes to yourself because, you want to keep it to yourself, I don't really see why that's having a significant impact on their financial position. It just means that, if you do that, then, you're a bit selfish and you're keeping your money to yourself rather than just letting it flow up the chain. But every purchase is designed to pay out 35%. So I don't really see that the commission rollout to be the true nature of as to what the issue is, but that's what they're claiming it to be. Okay, so these considerable fraudulent violations result mainly from unlawful double payments for partner activities via fabricated and rebuy commission payouts through fake multiple registrations and illegal advertising. The illegal advertising I get, but again, just because somebody's advertising poorly, people come in, they're still putting their money into the system, and USI have already agreed to pay out 35%. So again, I don't really see where this is going. All I could potentially see is that if you're getting rebuys that are coming in and you're getting commissions from that, and then you take those rebuy commissions to then rebuy again at the bottom of the chain, and you're constantly putting it at the bottom of the chain, then you're constantly using that money internally. I don't know what the real output of that would be, or the impact of that would be. But at the end of the day, we are where we are. So USI are going to roll out a new BTC package, and they've basically cancelled or ceased ongoing contractual relationships with all current packages. This is obviously the thing that's going to impact on all of us. So what does all this mean? In order to not excessively jeopardize your cost and expenses for the BTC packages, considering the aforementioned fraudulent behavior, and in order to spare you a loss, well, that's a positive sign that they don't want everybody to, BitConnect and Davor, people just ended up with a loss. They're unfortunately forced to immediately discontinue the BTC packages in their current form. Okay. So interestingly though, right now you can still rebuy packages. But I would suggest that you don't. I would suggest that you go through and turn off any and all automated rebuy setups that you have. Make sure that they're all turned off until this issue gets resolved, and just start accumulating your Bitcoin. Okay, so what does this mean? in regard to the legality and the termination, so basically they're saying that they have the legal right to terminate the agreement. Okay, I accept that they're the company, and they've basically said we're going to stop the payments and stop the contract with us over the next 140, 150 days. Okay, I get that. What's the impact? That's what I'm more worried about. There's no point whinging and complaining to say, oh, well, you told us it's going to be for 140 days. Look, that's gone. What I want to know is what's the impact and what's the risk to me financially as a result of this contractual change. Okay, so they've just got some points here about, that they've reserved the right to be able to do it. And they're also reminding us that, the Bitcoin's a speculative market and that you shouldn't have put any money in if you couldn't afford to lose it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not a good sign. But they're just stating the obvious. But despite this, despite the notice of a risk of total loss in our terms, we are striving to not assign a financial loss on the BTC packages to any client. Okay, so again, that's a positive sign. So I get the indication that USI are looking to make sure that we at least break even, and you at least get your money back. Now, again, there's no point whinging about the potential gain that you might have got. Okay, because the contractual arrangement has now gone. And I'm not aware of anybody in the group that's got more packages than I have at the moment anyway. So the biggest impact is, on those within the group that have a large amount of packages. All right. But the key here is that they're striving to not assign a financial loss as a result of the BTC packages to any client. Okay. So how are they going to do that? So all clients who have withdrawn 100% or more in the payout. So if you've done withdrawals like I have, and you've withdrawn more than 100, equal to or more than 100% of the deposited amount. This is key here, of the deposited amount of their respective purchased BTC packages are terminated. Okay, due to the termination of the contractual relationship that they mentioned above. Okay, there will be no further recoveries or payments for this BTC package. Okay, so here's this is how I read it. Okay, for me, I put in a couple of $1,000 into getting started, and over the course of the 8 months that I've been with USI, I have withdrawn greater than that amount. Okay, so I've withdrawn more than 100% of the amount that I put in. So therefore, I'm anticipating for my scenario that all current packages that I have, about 1,029 of them, will now be terminated. All right, and I have about 7 Bitcoin waiting to be repaid. I currently have 6 withdrawals waiting to be withdrawn in the pending phase. About 0.75 of a Bitcoin. And I do not expect those now to be paid out because I've received greater than 100%. Now, if you haven't done a withdrawal yet, what I would anticipate is they'll now withdraw to you or allow you to withdraw up to the amount that you deposited. Okay. What I don't know is whether or not that's the amount in Bitcoin or in fiat capital. Okay, so if you bought, let's say 10 packages back in September, October last year, when the Bitcoin price was down at around about somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000, somewhere in there, and let's say you put in $1,000, all right, I don't know if you're going to get $1,000 back or you'll get the equivalent of Bitcoin. So let's say that you spent $1,000 and you got 0.1 of a Bitcoin, for example. Are you going to get 0.1 Bitcoin back? Okay, I don't know what the outcome of that will be, because ideally you want the capital back. You don't want the Bitcoin back. And the reason why you don't want the Bitcoin back, well, it's good if you bought when it was low, because obviously then you'll make a profit from the capital gain. But those that started the USI journey back in December and January, for example, and bought it at a price that's higher than it is today, if you get the Bitcoin back, then you're in an immediate financial loss situation. So I would anticipate, and I would like to see, obviously, that people get paid back in the cash equivalent, and it might be you'll get paid in Bitcoin, obviously, but in the cash equivalent. So So you might have put in $1,000, but you'll get $1,000 worth of Bitcoin back at today's price. And then if you cash it in, you break even. That's my understanding of how I read that particular paragraph. So, due to the termination of the contractual relationship, there will be no further recoveries or payments for this BTC package. Okay, so basically that just means that they're just going to stop. Now, best case scenario, and fingers crossed this is the case, but this is not how I read it, but I'd love to see this to be the case, is that whatever amount that you currently have in payouts, that's what you'll receive. Okay, so if you've just been compounding and auto rebuying and doing all the things that that we recommended to grow your Bitcoin position, then ideally they just stop paying out anymore. And that's definitely going to be the case. They're not going to pay out anymore. And then they just simply say to you, right, here you go. You currently have, some will be at, 2% repayment. Some might be at 105% repayment. Some might be close to their first payout. But that's all you're going to get. Here's all your Bitcoin back. Ideally, that's what we would see. Because it would mean those that do have an increase in the amount of Bitcoin that they started with, i.e., for somebody like me that's been doing this for 8 months now, then I should receive back my full 7 Bitcoin value. That's what I'd love to see. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. Okay, but we'll find out for the next couple of days. All right. So how are they going to pay out? So if your BTC package is active, and so I've got 1,029 active packages. I've reached 100% or more of my payouts, then the BTC package will be reset basically to 0. That's the way I read it. If your BTC packages are active and you still have not been paid 100% of your payouts, then they will remain active until you can withdraw up to 100% of your money back. All right, so all clients who have withdrawn less than 100% of the original purchasing price for their BTC packages, the keyword there is withdrawn, will be granted future financial benefits as demonstrated in the following illustration, so that these BTC packages can reach their original purchasing price. Okay, so that's interesting. So, so each package may pay out to their original purchasing price. Okay, again, you can see it's not clear. The wording's not clear. It reads one way in some paragraphs, reads slightly different way in a different paragraph. And I would say that's due to the fact that the translation from German to English has lost some meaning in the interpretation. Okay, because the way I read this is that if you've withdrawn less than 100%, i.e. you've never done a withdrawal, these, because it says these, which meaning plural, so that these BTC packages can reach their original purchasing price. Well, that's all of them. Okay, so do they all reach their original purchasing price and you get them all back? Where it's not really clear, are we talking about rebuy purchases, or are we talking about just purchases, just deposit amount, buy from an external wallet? So what happens if you have no team? Okay, so you put in $1,000 and you've got no teams, you've earned no commission ever, but you've rebought. Okay, so you rebuy just based on your return of capital. Is that included? Like, does that form part of your component? Ideally, I'd like to think that will, and therefore you should be paid out on all of those once they reach 100%. They're not going to reach 140%, but once they reach 100%, you should get your money back, because you've put money in and then you've repurchased utilizing that amount. Okay, again, it's not really clear. Hopefully some clarification will come out. Illustration of how the current BTC packages will be paid until they have reached their break-even point of 100%. Okay, so again, they're saying that they're going to wait until they reach 100% is through mining. All right, and they'll keep making them active. All right, at the present moment, we cannot foresee how long this is going to take, and they're working on a complete calculation of all the active BTC packages as compared with the corresponding withdrawals. So that's going to take some time for them to work out. All right. Then they go in to talk about some cost recovery. For each particular person, then applies to withdrawal commissions from distributor activity and financial donations for partners in the capacity of a rebuy. So this is where it gets a little confusing. The determination of cost recovery. for purchase packages will be based on the withdrawals of each respective client and distributor. And this also applies to withdrawing commissions from distributor activity and financial donations for partners in the capacity of rebuy. So this is where because you could be doing rebuys from commission. You could also be doing rebuys from the return of capital. It's all blended into one. But you will notice in your USI back office, if we go into our wallet, that you've got here. So you've got BTC wallet balance, okay? And then you've got your token earning balance, which is commissions, okay? Because your token earning balance is only commission, all right? So, but your BTC wallet balance could be made up of some commissions, all right, as well as your return of capital earnings, all right? So this is where it gets a little bit tricky as to what goes with what. So USI, the way I understand it, USI are going to look at the return of capital earning component. So my return of capital earnings at the moment have been 4.6 Bitcoin. So that's what they've got to return to me is 4.62 Bitcoin. So that all of that gets returned. But at the moment, that's what they have returned. So yeah, so this one gets a little bit confusing. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. The resulting shortfall in relation to the respective deposits for all purchased BTC packages will then be paid out according to a yet-to-be-determined contribution plan. Okay. We further reserve the right to take legal. So they're basically just, threatening here that they're going to take legal action against any distributors who hard the company to doing. So I don't know what they can do, but I don't think that affects anybody here because we certainly don't. We don't talk about, and I've never had anybody ask me, how can we, cheat the system or get anything out of the system. So I'd like to think that, we've all just followed a simple plan. You share it and you make some commissions. So I don't think we're going to have too many issues within the group. They make a note here about tax. Okay, well, that's very good of them. I don't know why they're making the note about tax, but obviously there's tax considerations when you get paid out. But the tax considerations will only apply, especially in Australia, will only apply if you convert that to fiat. But I would chat to your accountant. My accountant indicated to me that the tax office is looking at ways where you actually have to declare any capital growth before you convert it back to fiat. So make sure you speak to a licensed taxation agent, and ideally somebody that works in the crypto space. And then thanks very much for your trust in the company. I think that's going to take a while to earn that back. But so they're going to introduce some form of new package in the future. Yeah, well, look, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how they play out now with the returns to everybody. Obviously, if there's a financial situation, a financial impact, then that's going to it's going to make it a lot more messier. But ideally, if everybody gets all their money back and starts again and it's all in Bitcoin and they offer something that's a lot more transparent, well, maybe we'll have to have a look at it. I don't know. Personally, I'd be just moving it all to mining. It's interesting now that they're talking about most of the stuff that they're going to be doing now, earning 7 days a week is really just going to be in the mining stuff. Ethereum mining, BTC mining, unused BTC mining capacity, whatever. Personally, I'd probably just move it to the Big Club network and work with a company that's in the top 10 mining places, within the world. And that'd be my recommendation. That's certainly what I'll be doing. So look, that's about it. So that's the letter. Look, it's not overly clear, but obviously there's something going on. The takeaways for you guys right at the moment is make sure you go through and turn off any auto rebuys that you have. You can try and send some help deck tickets through if you currently have any pending withdrawals. Not that I think it'll help, but hey, look, it can't hurt. Who knows? You might actually get one through that will allow you to do that. I sent one off this morning already, withdrawals, and they basically come back and said, yeah, no worries, thanks very much. We pass it on to our withdrawal department. I don't expect anything back. All right, from that. So look, that's it. Look, post your questions down below as we go. Ideally, we'll just see some more information that comes out over the next week or so, but I dare say that it's going to be a bit of a tumultuous period. I have no idea how this is going to impact on tokens. My recommendation at this stage would be for anybody that's in the Ruby token package. As I said, I'm not going to buy that at this stage. until we actually see some stuff that there's some stuff that's coming through to maximize that. So look, there's still a long way to go before we hit the $375 million in token rebuys, and so we've got plenty of time for that. And obviously we want to see what the impact's going to be on their overall the ICO and all that sort of stuff. But if people are feeling uncomfortable about that, look, let me know. Or we'll just sit on it for a while. But obviously, I would anticipate that that this is going to have an impact on the tokens as well. But at this stage, we're not going to purchase the tokens until we have a bit of a clearer idea of what's going to be happening with everything else that's going on USI-wise. So look, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Look, thanks for tuning in. And as I said, leave your comments and questions below. Look, there's no point whinging about what happens. Please keep your comments constructive. I'm not part of USI. I'm in the same boat as you. And in fact, it looks like we probably have a bit of a significant hit on this. I hope that doesn't be the case. So look, please keep your comments constructive. It doesn't really help, whinging and complaining about it, though I know you're going to be frustrated. I'm very, very frustrated at the moment. I'd like to see what's going to come out. But, if you do have some questions, what does this mean? What's your interpretation of this? Then please post them and we'll keep going. I'll keep bringing you updates on other things that are happening in the crypto space, certainly the mining side and all that sort of stuff. That seems to be going pretty well. And obviously there's no transparency issues there about how they make their money, which is a bit of a nice change. So, all right, I'm gonna leave it there. Take care, have an enjoyable week, and I look forward to bringing you an update in a couple of days' time. Cheers.